Happy fall equinox. The fall equinox will happen this coming Sunday morning on September 22nd. And the fall equinox is a really important time on the medicine wheel or the wheel of life. And in my tradition, we start in the spring. We actually enter the medicine wheel when we do a medicine wheel ceremony. We enter it in the east, which is the springtime. And that's when we envision the things we'd like to create and awaken in our lives. And we move down into the summer, which is the south, and we work with those things and we allow them to grow and develop, and we begin to trust what works and what doesn't work. And so then as we move into this time of year, into the west in the fall, it's a time when the thing that we have intended now has form. It now is complete, okay? And it's in its adult form. And its mature form would be a better way of saying it. So there's a real cool thing that happens with form across the wheel. There's the east is formless. It's pure concept. It's pure idea, pure vision. Okay, it has no. It's energetic, and it's where things are born. They're born, in the energy and in the energetic dimension, the spiritual dimension. And then as they move into the south, they begin to accumulate form, okay? And more and more and more until when they get into the west is when that form is in its maturity, okay? And I really like the analogy of a plant cycle and farming. So you plant a seed, okay, in the east, and granted the seed does have form, but nothing like the form of what it's going to be. So you're planting that seed, and then in the summer you kind of cultivate it and water it and weed around it, and it grows and it grows, and you nurture it until it gets to the fall, its maturity, and then it's harvested. And then we can glean its value, which is what this time of year is really about, is gleaning the value of your harvest. Okay? And one of my favorite ceremonies, I call it a ceremony, I'm not sure if the people that have them do, but are the harvest festivals that farm communities do, where all the different farmers and they bring their best thing that they've grown throughout the year, and they have this feast. And the feast is to celebrate their harvest, which, so symbolically, so I guess a good question would be, before I go into my thing, is like, what might the harvest symbolize in ourselves? Okay, that's a really good inquiry to consider. I'll give you some of my ideas, but even more interesting are yours. And so the harvest, if we're harvesting the things that we've created, or the things that we've awakened inside of ourselves, the things we've cultivated inside of ourselves, if we're harvesting those, okay, it means that we're harvesting them so we can eat them, so we can take them inside, and we can get their value. We can, get their value. So it's a time of integration. On the medicine wheel, it's a time, if we have our vision in the spring or in the summer, we do vision quest, and we have these amazing awakenings, but they're just visions. But not just. I mean, they're really important to have the visions, but they have no form. And so as they come now, it's time to, those things have taken form. So now it's time to, use them to nourish us and bring them into our lives. So the things that we've awakened in our life, the things that we've evoked from inside of ourselves, the medicines, the awakenings, the gifts, the maturities, the different things that we've been working with in ourselves and outside of ourselves, relationships and jobs and career, and the different things that we've created and awakened, it's time to harvest them. It's time to celebrate the harvest, acknowledge. It's a time of gratitude, of course, to give thanks for our harvest, okay? And probably most importantly is it's a time to, harvest them so we can access them, we can glean the value. And so the first way that we glean value is by acknowledging it as valuable. We acknowledge it as like, I created this with spirit, with the universe. We work together and we created some things. I unfolded some things from inside myself. I awakened some things. And it's acknowledging the power and the beauty of that, and how that makes the world a different place. It makes you different, it makes your community different, and it makes the world different because you have awakened these things. So it starts by acknowledging the power, and then it's bringing those things into your life, into your marriage, into your family, into your community. Like, how can the things that I've awakened, my medicine, my beauty, my vision, my spiritual awakening, whatever that is, the things my project, my new thing that I've developed, my new business, my, whatever it is, it's like, how can that add value to the whole? How can it add value to the people, is what the Native folk would say. Native Americans would say, how can I give that to the people? I've awakened this in myself, which is cool, but why did I awaken it in myself? So I could bring value to the people and bring value to my life and bring value to my marriage and my community and my job. And I can get it so it matters. We used to say, what good is it if it doesn't plant corn? Well, now we're harvesting the corn and we're eating the corn and it's nourishing the people. So metaphorically, how can the things that you've awakened and that you've created this year and you've developed and now they're in maturity, how can they make you stronger, your family stronger, your community stronger? How can they make the people stronger and benefit the community? And that's what the fall equinox is about. At the very least, one thing that it's about. And so that's what I would invite you to do. So that's my video for this week. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you enjoy your week and your fall equinox. And as you go through this week, maybe it's a great time to reflect on what have you awakened in your life? What have you created over this past 6 months, in this past year? And what is ready for the harvest? And how can you glean the value from that for you and your people? How can you bring it into your life and make it matter? And I will see you in a week.